The most important question for you to answer is, how do I know if I need a divorce coach? Well, I put together 7 signs that you probably do need a divorce coach. So I want you to just think through these as I read these out to you. If you have 3 or more of these in your life, hiring a coach is probably going to be the best investment that you make as you go through your divorce, because you want to do that strategically and wisely and in the healthiest ways possible for now and for your future.
Welcome to the Starting Over Stronger show, where you'll find help and hope for your divorce survival and recovery. Divorce well, live well.
Hello and welcome back to the Starting Over Stronger Divorce Survival and Recovery show. Today I'm going to spend some time with you one-on-one. I don't have an interview scheduled for today, but instead I would like to talk to you about how to know whether or not you need a divorce coach as you go through your divorce. I find that as I work in communities around where I live and speak with people online, that a lot of people don't really understand what a certified divorce coach is or what we do. And they find themselves in a stuck mentality of just thinking they have to buckle down and not do anything different or spend any more money because, yeah, we all know divorce is expensive and it makes sense to do that in a lot of ways. But the thing is that with certified divorce coaching, we have specific training to help you to mitigate a lot of the decisions and the losses and just the emotions that go along with a divorce in such a profound way that the entire divorce experience can change for the better. You'll spend, on average, much less time during the divorce. As far as how long the divorce takes, you will be much less stressed and overwhelmed because you have that thinking partner that's going to be on your side, on your team, in your corner. Somebody that you know is 100% doing whatever they can to help to ease you through this process. You know, it's not about money for that person. It's truly about your well-being. And then most importantly, for most people, when they're going through a divorce, it's going to save you money. Because the other approach when you don't have a divorce coach is that you expect your attorney to know everything about everything and to do everything for you. You're emailing and calling them often, and those things add up to the average $12,900 that people in America spend to get a divorce. And working with a divorce coach lowers that cost versus what you pay every single hour you're communicating with your attorney. So I'll just start by saying most likely you've gotten here where you are in the middle of a divorce process after debating it for many years. Most people have tried very hard to make their marriages work, and they have at some point decided it was time to cut their losses and move on. Others obviously were served papers that they didn't want or didn't expect. But regardless, we've ended up in this place where, you know, there's this just single defining moment when it's over. Nothing that anyone can do is going to change that. And we want to get to that place where we're finally ready to close a bad chapter and figure out how to write a new one, no matter what, right? And so whether or not it was your idea and whether or not you saw it coming, and frankly, it's just as shattering and disruptive either way, but it's a deep, raw, and extremely vulnerable feeling to know that divorce is happening. Up feels down, down feels up, nothing feels normal, and you have no idea when or if it will ever feel normal again. You don't even know what normal is now. Spoiler alert, it will get to a new normal, better than you think eventually. So for now, all that matters is that you're getting a divorce. Want it or not, it's happening. You've probably never done this before. Most people going through divorce are experiencing it for the first time. And yet you seem to sense that you have to gather yourself and do it well because you're smart, right? You have this gut feeling that the decisions you make now are going to have long-term ramifications. The questions that run through your mind nonstop might be something like, how much is this going to cost me? How am I going to afford this? How am I going to provide for myself? What if I can't find a job? How will I even support myself? Why is this happening? How much time will I have to give up with my kids to split custody? How are the kids going to handle being shipped back and forth between two houses? Will I get alimony if I need it? How much child support can I expect? Who can I count on to help me through all of this? Will all my married friends feel like they have to choose sides or just conveniently disappear from my life? Will they choose his side or mine? How do I even begin to think about starting over, or worse, starting to date again at this point in my life? And one more question that you may or may not know to ask, that may be the most important question for you to answer, is how do I know if I need a divorce coach? Well, I've put together 7 signs that you probably do need a divorce coach. So I want you to just think through these as I read these out to you. If you have 3 or more of these in your life, hiring a coach is probably going to be the best investment that you make as you go through your divorce, because you want to do that strategically and wisely and in the healthiest ways possible for now and for your future. So number 1, if this is your first divorce and you have no idea what you're doing and the what is coming next feeling of doom is intense, you might need a divorce coach. Number 2, your brain is operating on pure adrenaline and fear. You feel like you're drowning in what if scenarios, and the mental fog of it all has made good decision making feel impossible. Number 3, he took care of all the financial stuff. How do you, as a woman who has very little experience managing your financial life, even begin to find all the records and logins and statements and know what to do with them? Number 4, your confidence is shot. You could be a CEO or a stay-at-home mom, but no matter what you've previously been capable of, you are now second-guessing everything and everyone, especially yourself. Number 4, you are seeing red. Everything is making you angry. You don't want to make decisions based on anger or fear. Number 6, you want to be the best parent you can be, but you honestly don't know how in the middle of a divorce, or from now on, for that matter. What does it even look like to be a good parent who's divorced? Number 7, the idea of life after divorce is killing you. Earning a living, alimony, child support, making sure you get the payments, garnishment, co-parenting, dating, retirement. You have no idea what you are going to do after this divorce is over, and you have to face yourself and your new life. Who will you even be? Who are you now? Questioning your own personhood is a big indicator of a need for a divorce coach. And honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg. The practical matters of your divorce, and then there's your personal pain, your heartbreak, the grief of watching a lifelong dream die before your eyes, the dismay of what all this says about you as a woman, as a mom, as a lover, as a human. You have zero energy to deal with any of this stuff, let alone all the deeper heart issues that lie in wait and beckon you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to break down crying no matter where you are. Of course, you don't know where to start. How would you know how to divorce or who to trust? You've never done this before. I use the analogy often that life is like a road trip, and right now, you're sitting on the side of the road with an overheating engine, a flat tire, a map that won't load, and no signal on your cell phone. What in the world are you going to do now? That's the only question that seems to make sense to ask right now. And as a divorce survivor turned divorce professional, there's only one thing I can tell you to alleviate all of these questions and worries right now. And that is that you cannot do this well alone. And I know you're probably a lot like me and you're used to just pulling yourself up by your bootstraps and taking care of things because that's what we do. That's the role that we've played in our families all these years. But the second most important and much more positive thing that I want you to know is that you do not have to do this alone. Hey, this is Annie. I wanted to stop for just a moment and ask you what you're doing, besides listening to this podcast, to take care of yourself during your divorce. I mean, after all, if you don't, who will? There are several ways you can join Starting Over Stronger as you heal through divorce. First of all, very exciting news. We just launched the brand new startingoverstronger.com website. Come check it out and become a member so you can stay up to date on all the latest opportunities for support. If you haven't yet, you're also welcome to join our private Starting Over Stronger After Divorce group on Facebook. Denise recently joined there and shared that her divorce is a minute-by-minute struggle at times. And Gretchen also joined us recently as she faces a difficult separation situation and has all kinds of questions about what to do to protect herself. And of course, the more of you that join this group, the more answers you all can get from each other. And of course, I chip in there too. Now, the best spot for answers is in private or group coaching, where we can talk specifically about the exact issues that you're facing in a private format. So you'll also find out more about those on the new website. I watch for you to join both the new website platform and the Facebook group. Remember, the website is just startingoverstronger.com, but the private Facebook group is Starting Over Stronger After Divorce. And you will have to answer some questions there. And we make very sure that anybody that joins is someone that belongs. So I hope to see you all there soon. I would love to meet more of my listeners and get to know each of you and the situations that you're facing. So I hope to see you there soon. You are not at your best self right now. You felt every single one of those things on that checklist that I just named, didn't you? And on top of being angry, exhausted, fearful, forgetful, and disoriented, you probably aren't sleeping well or eating well. You probably aren't exercising enough, or maybe you're doing it too much. You may be drinking more than ever on top of that, and all of that is just making all the negative feelings that much more intense. Maybe the only solace you can find is when you tap into your inner IDGAF. And if you don't know what that is, Google it or ask a teen. I promise you're feeling it now, and you will at some point if you're not now, because it just gets to be too much. The problem is that deep down you really do GAF, and you need to, because every decision that you make between the day that the divorce is filed and the day that the judge signs the divorce decree, you're facing a very long list of decisions, each and every one of which has real and long-lasting impacts. You simply cannot afford to mess this up. Maybe you imagine yourself just walking into your lawyer's office, and maybe you did this already, and dumping all this into his or her lap. I mean, who else is there to address all this? Maybe you already sat in your lawyer's office and bawled your eyes out. Don't worry if you have. You're far from the only one. I did it too. But the truth is that no lawyer, despite being called a counselor at law, has the desire nor training to provide therapeutic or coaching services. They are ethically inclined and obligated to advise you on your legal options and the potential outcomes for each option, but they would really rather stick to the business of your divorce than the story of it. And of course, the story is where you feel stuck. In fact, one of my favorite attorney partners likes to say, I cost twice as much and I'm half as qualified as your therapist, when referring to clients who try to use their attorney to do this kind of support work for them. In spite of that, women like you and I have been dropping tears in attorneys' offices for as long as divorce has been around. And as common as that may be, and despite the fact that I did it too, it is to your financial and emotional advantage to find the support you need outside of your attorney's office and ledger. So some people ask if a therapist would be a sufficient divorce coach. And that's also going to be a no in most cases. Because despite how critical a role a therapist has played in your life, possibly up until this point, in helping you come to terms with the reality of divorce in your life, and maybe many other issues that you might continue to see him or her for, their line of work is not specific to preparing you to walk through the practical matters of the divorce process and the rebuilding of your new life after divorce. That's where divorce coaching comes in. Your certified divorce coach offers something altogether different and equally important to your legal representation and your therapy. So let's revisit that road trip analogy that I used earlier and imagine that divorce is being overheated on the shoulder or in the shop with a flat tire. In that analogy, your therapist is your mechanic who helps you to analyze and repair anything from your past or present that's causing your engine to fail or a tire to deflate. Therapy is crucial for determining what has gotten you to where you are now that you never intended or wanted to be. But then what? So what does a divorce coach do? Divorce is obviously a major life transition, perhaps the most major that exists. And unlike any other transition you've ever faced in your life, most likely, like getting married or having a baby, divorce changes everything for a very long time in some very big ways that often deeply affect your identity and your sense of purpose in life. It's more like the death of someone very important in your life. Divorce is, in fact, the death of something very important in your life. Your role as a spouse and how you see yourself in the world is very much oriented to that. You probably feel like you're losing everything you know and that everything you've worked for and formed your identity around is disappearing. In some ways, you're right. This major life transition, like almost no other, is the moment in our life when everything changes and life takes on all new meanings. And for all these reasons and more, many women feel beyond alone and overwhelmed, and out of that great need has risen a professional skilled in this very transition, including all 4 stages of divorce: deciding on it, preparing for it, surviving it, and then recovering from it. An experienced divorce coach is trained to help you with every phase of this immense shift. And they have expertise in helping you understand what you can and cannot, or must and must not do at any given part of the process to align with your goals, your needs, your desires, and your best self. Though we often say otherwise, our goal during divorce should not merely be to just survive, but to walk it out with poise and confidence, to make smart decisions that don't leave major regrets, to ensure healing and emotional and financial security for years to come for you and for your children. And doing divorce alone is not the inevitable outcome or even wise. A divorce coach has one thing that you cannot have right now, and it's the one thing that gets in the way of positive divorce outcomes over and over again: emotional detachment from the story of your divorce. Are you struggling to decide whether divorce is the right decision for you, or just tired of feeling like you're broken and everything is all your fault? The decision of how and whether to leave a toxic relationship can take years without good support from people who understand. The Starting Over Stronger Toxic Relationship Recovery Support Group is designed with you in mind. Led by me, certified divorce and life transition coach Annie Allen, and with a small group of women in your shoes, you're going to find understanding here. We're going to talk about the patterns of these relationships and what you can do about them. There are currently 2 weekly groups running, one on Monday evenings at 6 p.m. Central and the other on your Wednesday lunch hour at noon Central. So whether you need an evening or a daytime group to meet your needs for privacy during this call, please consider joining us. If you're interested in learning more, just send an email with your interest from your secure email address that only you have access to Annie at startingoverstronger.com. And if you're in a controlling or abusive relationship, wondering how you could ever be a part of a support group like this without putting yourself at risk or exposing your desire to leave, please indicate that in your email and we can discuss solutions. You can make this work. And I know you feel alone, but you're not. Reach out and find the help you need. Now, you may think you're detached, or you may know you're not, but feeling done kind of gives us that heady, albeit wrong, assurance that we don't care anymore. We're done, right? It's impossible for a living, breathing, feeling soul to be fully detached emotionally in the process of a marriage dissolving. You're not superhuman. And that is what it would take to be fully detached from your own divorce during its proceedings. So you have to stop and realize that divorce is bigger than you right now. Divorce is hard. Your intuition is thrown off. Your decision-making skills are thrown off. You are probably feeling somewhat desperate every day for people to talk to who get it. The right people. Not your emotionally scarred friend or sister or coworker who got divorced years ago and still is never healed. Certainly not someone who's never been through it. You need a thinking partner and a confidant who gets where you are and has the capacity to journey through it with you without getting emotionally sucked into the vortex with you. The mistakes you will make without this kind of support will be fueled by inexperience, stress, and emotional overwhelm, and will be more costly than you can even imagine right now. And I don't just mean money. We can lessen and even eliminate those mistakes by buckling down with a CDC, a certified divorce coach, to do the thinking work with us, to help us figure out if divorce really is the right course of action for us, if there's something more or different we need to do before or instead of that, to help us get all the important paperwork organized, to even know what paperwork we need, and to wade through all the specifics of the unique circumstances that we face. Your best friend and your sibling might be the perfect person for a shoulder to cry on and help with the kids so you can breathe a little bit, and then use those bolstered emotional resources to line up your divorce team, starting with the team captain, a certified divorce coach, to align with you and to get you aligned with all the top-notch professionals you are going to need to support you through this. Your friends and family mean well, and of course they'll do their best to help you. But most of them, if not all of them, aren't trained to provide everything you need during divorce. And they certainly cannot be emotionally detached and objective because they love you. Don't make the mistake that many women do of thinking that hiring an attorney is job one and maybe the only job. Before you decide on a lawyer, you want to decide what the right divorce process is for you. And first of all, to do that, you'd have to know that there are different processes. You have to know how to select the right representation depending on your situation and whether you want to mediate, collaborate, litigate, or DIY. What are the pros and cons of each? Which is the best fit for your situation? Once you know that, then you can look for an attorney who practices that type of law. And if you're connected with a certified divorce coach, you're going to be given a list of attorneys that are known, liked, and trusted. So you don't end up with one that you just thought was going to be a good attorney, but has ended up being unavailable and unconcerned about your situation. But you'll immediately face a litany of questions about how to know which attorney is right for you. And does the least expensive attorney do just as good of a job as the most expensive ones? What about your unique situation? Will they understand the particulars of what you're facing? Job one is not hiring an attorney. Job one is hiring a divorce coach. A coach will immediately lower your stress level, for one. and be able to help you understand where you are in the divorce process and where you want to end up. They will also know what kind of lawyer you might want to use and many options available to you for each step of the process. Many divorce coaches are cross-trained in other divorce fields, such as legal, financial, therapy, and real estate. Most certified divorce coaches are born out of a need because they have been a lawyer or a mediator, a financial advisor, a therapist, or a real estate agent, and they have seen all the failures in their industry to meet the needs of people. And they have chosen to accept this training and learn this new way of helping people through divorce because there was a need for it. And your coach is also going to have a list of vetted professionals to recommend who have helped their clients well in the past and taken good care of them conscientiously with integrity. Your coach may accompany you to meetings with other professionals, kind of like your personal secretary, making certain that you're getting what you need from the meeting. But more than likely, they're going to just help you prepare and gather the resources to have competent and confident conversations to handle those meetings on your own. They're going to help you find an attorney that is the perfect fit for you because that's the first step that your coach will take you through. And then because finances will play a major role in your divorce planning, the coach is most likely going to connect you with a divorce-focused financial planner or advisor to educate and assist you through those financial decisions. And then your coach will guide you through the many steps of determining whether and how to keep or sell the house, where to live, how to tell the kids, what documents you need to gather, what is the best way to execute the many decision points that you're going to make along the way, and so much more, like how to believe in yourself and how to learn to trust your gut again, how to recognize your own voice, how to know and love yourself again. Certainly it is possible to get through a divorce alone. Many have done it. Ask a few of them if they have any regrets. Ask what they would do differently. Ask them if they've ever heard of a divorce coach and if they would have hired one if they knew it existed when they went through their divorce. When you know better, you do better. That's the number one rule of divorce and life in general. And that starts with hiring a divorce coach now that you know they exist and you know just a little bit about how they guide and empower you to get the support and protection that you need. So be the wiser of those of us who went through divorce and align yourself for a smarter, more well-informed decision-making process for you, for your children, and for the life that you want to create and the future that you want to have when your divorce is all said and done. So today I just want to encourage you, if you haven't yet, to visit startingoverstronger.com. You'll find out more about divorce coaching in general, about me specifically as a divorce coach and how I support my clients. And you can book a discovery call there. It doesn't cost anything. We can get on the phone for 30 minutes and we can talk about what is going on in your specific situation with your divorce so that you know what all your options are. We can talk about what the investment of a divorce coach looks like and how it saves you time, money, and stress during your divorce. So don't put it off another day. Reach out and make sure that you get what you need as you go through your divorce. Thanks so much for listening. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today, and I'm here when you need me.